Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. David here. Hope you're having a great day. Today I have my friend Glenn here with me. How are you doing, man?
Doing well. Just getting into it here in LA. Million things on the go. So, yeah, how's things going with you? You said you were just out in the desert. What's that all about?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I just filmed a video for 2 days in the desert, like the actual desert, like a billion degrees. Yeah, last 2 days for a band that is already out there called the Commas. And it's, they wanted me to play the bad guy, of course, because it's a Mad Max-like video. So it was like the PR team was like, oh my God, you're perfect. Like, please do it. And so I got to drive the crazy Mad Max cars, with all the.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was hot as hell, but it was pretty cool.
Oh, man, that sounds kind of fun, man.
Right on. It definitely was. Like on my channel, like people have been saying forever, like, oh my God, you should be the bad guy in such and such movie. Like, you never know. But I see you are in a familiar location over there.
Yeah, I'm over at Warren's place. We're kind of sharing the space these days. We're working together pretty closely on a number of fronts. So Warren's like, oh, come on down. So.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
Come spend the summer in Laurel Canyon. Yeah, that's rough.
Oh, by the way, I was, of course, on the road running and all that, but I saw was your birthday not long ago, so happy birthday late.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I just hit the big 5-0. Ugh. Well, let's put it this way. My 50th birthday could have been a whole lot worse. You know what I mean? It's like, I got to come to LA. I went down to San Diego for that and got to see a couple buddies. It was great. Yeah.
Awesome.
So nothing to complain about there.
Awesome. What are you up to these days?
The whole reason for the call, I just put a new course out. It's called Mixing Metal in Reaper with free plugins. I take you through this massive course on mixing with free plugins. It's like 88 tracks. It's a metal piece. It's 8 minutes long. There's a symphony synthesized in the background, but there's a real grand piano. There's real contrabass, and there's like 3 different movements in the song. It's a really wicked piece of music.
Awesome.
And thought it would be cool to like try mixing this thing with just absolutely nothing but free VSTs, either included in Reaper or stuff you can find online for low cost of absolutely nothing.
That's interesting. A couple of questions. First of all, do you record that too?
Yes, I did record the song.
Okay.
I recorded it back in 2011, but I wasn't happy with my drum recording from back then, so I had Jackson Ward retrack the drums at his place, and those turned out stellar. So that's cool.
I bet that. And so you said about 80 tracks.
Yeah.
I did a couple of recording of contrabass and experiment a lot with that. Do you remember anything about how you recorded that?
I think those were just like single mics. It was like a Rode NTK mic, and I actually did a lot of Celtic bands back in the early 2000s. So we were working a lot of bowed instruments back then. So
right.
Just kind of worked off what I learned from those sessions. And the NTK was kind of my go-to mic for that kind of thing. We got a pretty cool tone. But yeah, there's 88 tracks in this because there's a lot of layers. There's a lot of vocal harmonies going on. One thing I wanted to do is I wanted to work with the band to get everybody singing in harmony, so that way we could get these guys their own sound.
Right.
And people ask me that all the time. How do you get bands to sound unique? How do I find my sound? How do I find my sound? And it's like, start singing harmonies with each other.
Oh yeah.
You will get your own sound. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I think we talked about this last time that we chatted about the importance of like the real vocal production, the stacked vocal. Even if you don't recognize necessarily there are 35 vocals, you hear 4, but the importance of layering well and producing well vocals, it makes such a big difference in any production of any genre. So I bet that it's interesting to see how you mix that. And they were all male, right? All males?
No, it was a female lead.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, she was a little bit more, how should we say, a bit more show tunes than metal, but it kind of worked. Again, it gave them their own tone. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not somebody screaming and hollering. This is somebody who can actually really sing, and maybe not as aggressively as you would think for a metal track, but like I said, once we started bringing in the rest of the band to fill in the harmonies, it really, really came alive and came its own thing. So
I believe in contrast. too. I mean, look at the last release, Bella's release. That's like the flagship of contrast. That's so much contrast and counterpose, like something a little more mellow, like like a female that doesn't scream and growl with a metal track and various things. It just makes it different. It makes it sound fresh.
Exactly.
There are any samples on the drum, so that's why everybody.
None. No. This is the thing. It's like, hey, let's mix a really well recorded drum set with nothing but free plugins, just to basically show you, yes, you can do it, and you can get this. Yeah.
Okay. So, name me few. Because I have to be honest, I don't have that many free plugins. Like I don't dig and look actively for them unless, I run into them. Give me some like cool plugins, cool names that you used for the project.
Okay, well, the one thing I kept going back to over and over and over again was the RIA EQ, which is this, it looks kind of a bit like a Fab Filter EQ. Is kind of based around that, except it's absolutely free. Super versatile, looks gorgeous. It's got a really wonderful, waveform display on it, so you can see what's going on, and you can just work with it very, very quickly. The Tokyo Dawn Labs free feedback compressor Mark II. Use that as well quite a bit. Great compressor, looks gorgeous, sounds great. And one of my favorite reverbs ever is the Satan verb. And this is done in the Jesus script programming language for Reaper. And I think it's unique to Reaper, or there's a way to install like a wrapper to get it working as a VST and other DAWs. But it's called the Satan verb. It looks amazing and it sounds really freaking cool. And it's kind of become one of my fast favorites.
I never heard about it. What kind of reverb is that? Is it like a shimmer hall room? Everything.
Yeah, it's an algorithm reverb for sure. It's not an IR verb. Although I did wind up using an IR loader built into Reaper to do some of the drum room simulation.
Okay.
And that was based my friend Jason Constantine, who used to run my Discord. He came up with a system for developing like basically an artificial drum room.
Yeah.
And this neat way of doing it. I did a video on it and I kind of take it through it again in this lesson as well. So that's pretty cool. It's a great way to make drums recorded in a small room sound a lot bigger without necessarily going through a reverb. You use the close mics and send them all to a bus, and then run that through an impulse response type reverb, and then smash the shit out of it with a compressor.
Yeah, I did a video a long time ago about how to simulate like a big room or a medium big room with plugins, and it included like a couple of like very, very short delays sent into reverb buses and different impulses left and right, and squash, some not. But I'm very complicated when I do things. So that's interesting.
You can get some amazing results though, even on drums that might not necessarily be the best recorded. You just gotta use a little imagination and try things maybe a little bit outside the box.
I actually had a decent success when I was sent to mix drums that were recorded maybe literally in a garage, so like the ceiling is this high, and now you need to get the sound some way, and there's not one way to do it. There are several ways, and it's definitely possible. And
in this case, the drums were extremely well recorded. I gotta give props to Jackson Ward for doing it. But like I said, just being able to pull off a really big sound with nothing but the free stuff is pretty cool. It can definitely be done. And if you're kind of curious, it's like, well, the cool thing is this course costs you less than the price of a lot of plugins.
Right.
So it's you really got nothing to lose on it.
How much is the course?
The course is $67. We got a couple bundles though. We've got the Pro bundle, which 97, 87, something like that, where I'll sit down, and myself and Warren Hewitt will sit down, and we're going to do a live stream with everybody who does a mix song in this, and we'll listen to him and give you feedback and make some advice, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be super cool.
You reminded me, Warren just told me that I had to do that. I didn't know. I had to do that for my last course, and I don't remember who at the academy called me and said, like, hey, you're ready for that? I was like, what? He explained me that's how we do now, and it's pretty cool. I'm actually looking forward to it because I got a lot of personal consultation from people who bought my course and or watch my videos and stuff, and it's definitely a completely different experience for them when they actually can speak to us.
Oh, yeah.
in real time and say, hey, I did this and I did that, and you can hold on a second. Let me take it from there.
Let's take a listen.
Every time I have a one-to-one lesson or a consultation like that, they are always so happy, and they always say like, oh my God, this is like, I learned so much. So I think doing this for people that bought our courses, because I think I have a couple of bundles there too right now, it's very, very useful. It's like literally the next step once you have the session, the files, because I'm sure your course is going to be having all of that, right? You have the Reaper session, the files, and everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. You can pull it up, and here's like the blank track. Here's the thing. Here's the here's it raw, but here's the finished version as well. Here's how I get from this point to this point, that kind of thing. And I almost forgot. We've also got a bundle. We've got the Extreme bundle, and that includes the Adam Steele Ultimate Reaper Guide. So if you're kind of a Reaper newbie, or you want to know how to track a song in Reaper, it includes all that. That was a big course for everybody, and that's just a super awesome course. If you're into Reaper and you haven't got that, grab it, because it's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I know a lot of people that use Reaper. I personally, I always saw it when we were in the studio together, and you were showing me a couple of things. I know very little about Reaper, but it seems legit, like in every aspect. Like I don't see any limitation, compared to the way more expensive DAWs.
Now, do you know why Reaper is so cheap?
No, I don't actually.
Because the guy who wrote Reaper is the guy who wrote Winamp.
Oh.
So Winamp was bought by Time Warner.
Right.
So he sold Winamp for basically, the economy of a small country.
Yeah.
And so with that money, he said, I'm going to create a DAW for everybody.
Wow, that's cool.
It gets laughed at a little bit because it's so cheap, but it's kind of ridiculous. It's like, no, this thing's awesome. It's like, I'm laughing because you guys are paying out the nose for, top end DAWs with all these extra updates and stuff that, you got to keep forking out for. And it's like, why are you guys doing this? This works just as good, if not better, and won't cost you as much.
I have a video coming out exactly on this concept, which is price tag. I can't believe that whoever built it wanted to do something good, because he didn't need to do that to make money, right? So
yeah, exactly. It's like this was kind of like his pet project or his baby kind of thing. He's just gonna make I'm gonna make this awesome.
I don't know almost anything about your mixing process. Without giving away too much, tell me just simply, like, how do you start? From what instrument? What's your workflow at the beginning?
I'll usually start with the drums, get those happening first, because I'm the guy who loves real drums. I hate samples, so it's like let's get the drums sounding great right from the get-go. Usually start with close mics, kick, snare, and then maybe bring in the room mics, overheads, that kind of thing. Then bring in the toms, and then start bringing in parallel compression and all that good stuff. Get that happening, bring in the bass guitar, then the rhythm guitars, get all that kind of to gel. Then probably do the vocals, and then maybe the synth elements last, and see if there's anywhere I can squeeze those in.
I mean, you have to pick what's the most important element in the mix, right, and build around it. Whatever it is your taste, whatever the song calls for. Especially in metal, I hear metal, and usually there's the two school of thoughts. There's the guitar on top of everything, or the drums kicking really, really hard, and the bass doing the bad track, and the guitar just giving the articulations. So
yeah, I'm a little bit more with the second method there, where I like a really solid drum foundation. I used to get screamed at all the time because you could never hear the bass guitar. Now I'm getting hey, that's a really awesome bass tone. So it's like, I think I'm kind of got that to where I want it now finally. So
yeah.
That's kind of fun. I mean, like, that's the thing though. We all get better as we go along, and it's just, you take feedback and you improve the best you possibly can.
Absolutely. If it wasn't that way, it would be a problem. I've always said it's like half of the sound of the guitars is the bass.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially in metal. I mean, like, why do you think I rag on bass players so much? It's because if you've got a weak bass track, your record will sound weak. You can't cut corners on bass guitar in metal. You have to have stellar bass tracks, or the whole thing's going to fall apart. Yeah,
absolutely. Whether or not you have a growly, distorted bass that is obvious in the mix, or you have the sub-below, steady bad track bass, that's your foundation. Otherwise,
It's got to be played clean, though.
yeah, that is where the power is, you know. And
Exactly. That's what makes your mix sound huge. Is a good solid bass
Yep.
guitar. Because yeah, if you don't have that, if you don't have that, you've only got your dick in your hand.
Exactly. So what other unconventional instruments you have in this course? You mentioned the counterbass, and then what else?
This was actually my very first grand piano recording.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were working on this piece, and Kim, the vocalist / keyboardist, she's like, "Oh, she had this nice little keyboard line." I'm like, "That's really cool." I'm like, "Hey, maybe we can find like a synth grand or something." And she's like, "I got a buddy who's got a grand. What? Let's see if we can hook something up." So I rigged up this portable recording rig. We went over to this dude's place. We used a pair of Octava MC012s, which are some of my absolute favorite mics ever.
I had them.
And Yep. I had mine hot rodded by Michael Jolie, actually. I had him redo the electronics in them. But I'll put those up against one KM184s any day of the week.
Any day. Yeah, they're amazing, very versatile microphones.
And it worked really great.
Do you record the gang vocals?
No, I did them all individually because they couldn't sing, and I hate to admit it, but there was a lot of auto-tune on those backup vocals.
Okay. Yeah, well, on background vocals, it's kind of permitted, so to speak.
Yeah, I guess it's like this is really before I put my foot down about autotune. This was one of the records that made me say, no, this is bullshit. We got to do this for real.
Yeah.
I mean, like, would have liked to have had this on the record, but this was just in the case of trying to squeeze a performance out of the musicians any way I could.
Right. All right. Well, sounds like a cool course. So I'm gonna take a look at it myself and give it a shot for sure.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks very much for having me on the show. I definitely got to come by and check your studio out at some point.
No
We should
problem.
definitely do something.
Anytime, we're here. Glenn, take care, and thank you for being here. Guys, check out the course. Check out, of course, this channel. I'm pretty sure you know it already. Links are going to be in the info box down below. Man, I'll talk to you soon. Stay safe.
All right, man. Take it easy. Thanks again, Dave. See ya.